Hey guys, Sensei Andy from Kando Martial Arts, Knox here, and what I have for you now is a series on what we call our defensive ground position. How can we defend ourselves while we're on the ground and our opponent is standing up? So let's get straight into it. A couple of ideas that we want to be aware of as we get started. Number one, I don't want to be flat on my back. When I'm flat on my back, it limits my movement more than me being on the ground already does. So obviously, if I'm on the ground, my opponent's standing up, I've got a distinct disadvantage where I can't move as well. So if I'm flat on my back, that makes it even harder to move. So that's number one. We want to be on our side, not flat on my back. Then I also don't want to be down on my shoulder, I want to be up on my elbow. So let's take a look at what those two ideas look like. Let's look at our defensive ground position. So we're going to be on our side. We're imagining our opponent is out to the side here. I don't want to be, as I mentioned, flat on my back. Because when I'm flat on my back, yes, I can kind of use both legs, but I can't move as well. So what I'm going to do instead is I come onto my side, up on my elbow, and I've got my feet tucked in, my hand up close as well. We call this our lines of defense. So we've got our line of defense number one. For them to get to my head, I can kick them away. If they get past my legs, I can still use my hand to block while I bring my legs back in front, and then I can keep my head as far away from my opponent as I can. That's a really important idea here. I want to keep my head as far away from my opponent as I can. Yeah? So we're going to be up on our elbow, feet in close. If I have my feet outstretched, one, I'm reaching for them already, and it's easier for them to get past my legs. Two, it's really difficult for your muscles to hold your leg out extended for a long time. So we want to have it both our legs in close, my foot in, ready to kick and push them away, and my hand up ready to block as well. What we're going to look at from here for this first video is just a basic side kick. How do I keep my distance? How do I keep them away? And what we're going to do, like I mentioned, is our side kick. So I'm going to extend my leg out with my foot horizontal. I want to be using the outside edge, the blade of my foot, because that'll get me further reach and a better accuracy. So from here, I've got my hand up. I'm going to have my leg loaded already, extend out, making sure my foot is sideways. We'll talk more about that in a second, and then it can come back in. So it doesn't matter if they start to move towards my front, anything in front of my body, I'll call my front, I can still get my kick off. If they start to move back, I can still get my kick off. If they go further around back, we'll talk about that in a future video. But for now, I want to be kicking sideways. The reason I want to kick sideways and not have my foot vertical up and down like a front kick is because with that cross-sectional area, if their leg is vertical, which, you know, if they're standing up, it will be, and my foot is vertical, I'm more chance to miss, right? So if I'm here in my defensive position and I try and kick with a vertical foot, I'm more likely that I'm going to miss my target. Whereas if I kick with a horizontal foot, I'm more likely to be able to make impact because I'll get that cross section. So it doesn't matter how far across this way, how far up and down, I'm still likely to connect and be able to keep them away and keep them at distance. So that's video one in this series of our defensive ground position. Make sure you stay tuned for next video.